Some of you may have heard VA may or may not be in talks with the Department of Homeland Security to send its physicians and resources to the southern border to care for illegal immigrants due to the obvious, what we all know is the southern border crisis. And news reports have come out over the past couple of weeks that VA may or may not be in talks to do this. So I wanted to break it down for you real quick. Basically, at the end of April, there were reports stemming from a House committee. It would have been the Appropriations Committee about Department of Veterans Affairs. The committee meeting was, or hearing rather, was with the Department of Homeland Security. One of the questions came up from one of the members from Iowa about whether the Department of Homeland Security had been in talks with the Department of Veterans Affairs to send Department of Veterans Affairs resources to the border to care for basically illegal immigrants that have crossed in. And there have been reports one way or the other, both sides of the coin, talking about whether or not this is accurate. There's a lot of spin about this, and I want to break it down for you so that veterans watching this channel are able to be informed about what is going on and to make appropriate decisions, to maybe reach out to your congressman, etc. Basically, after the report had come out as a result of the hearing responses, it would have been House Republicans had responded with a little bit of concern. Basically, the Department of Homeland Security, Mayork, I believe his last name is, I have a hard time saying it, eventually did admit that there were talks between the Department of Homeland Security and Department of Veterans Affairs at some level, the extent of which were not necessarily disclosed, about whether to use VA resources on the border and to care for potentially some of the illegal immigrants and to help with that process. This stems from legislation that came out in 1980 or so years. The resource sharing between the DoD, Department of Defense, and Department of Veterans Affairs, okay? So it's not necessarily, I mean, the Department of Homeland Security didn't even exist yet. And at that point in time, it moved forward until what we currently see. The fourth mission became prominent in 2020 when then Secretary Wilkie had announced that the VA was going to open its doors to the public due to the pandemic. This would have been around March of 2020. It has since been growing in its role, and the Department of Veterans Affairs has expanded its agreements with the Department of Homeland Security that have been going through until 2022, which is where we're at today. It is likely true, based off of what the DHS secretary said, that there were talks with Department of Veterans Affairs. It does not sound as if it was like the secretary speaking, between the two, speaking together about it. Instead, what it sounds like is there were certain committees within both agencies that had been discussing it. There is a bit of back and forth about what occurred, but nonetheless, due to Congress's outcry as a consequence of, or in response to the news, the Department of Veterans Affairs has now most certainly come out and said, well, this isn't going to happen. And Department of Homeland Security also, it sounds like, is now had said, I want to say it was about a week ago, that they're not going to be rolling out with this. The talks aren't going on. They're not going to be doing it. I suspect that based off of, my background and understanding how the Department of Veterans Affairs has worked over the past, multitude of decades in the news and elsewhere, that it looks like there were talks going on. It looks like the public outcry from the Department of Homeland Security and Department of Veterans Affairs and elected officials on both sides of the aisle likely stymied the talks that likely would have expanded this fourth mission into what is going on in on the border. So it doesn't sound as if this is going to happen. I am going to look into it more because, again, I had heard about this fourth mission concept a couple years ago, and I think everyone else, like me, were very distracted with all these other things going on, and trying to focus on just making sure our families were safe and healthy. So now that we know that, while we were away and distracted, there were a lot of things going on and a lot of repositioning between these federal agencies. We got to look into it and maybe rein them in a bit. So that's the takeaway. So VA is not, according to what they say publicly. Now, again, whether you believe them, that is another story. And I can attest that there are instances where individuals within the government maybe shouldn't be trusted. And I think we've seen a lot of different examples about that over the past decade. I think the most egregious thing within the veteran circles definitely would have been the attempted cover up of the waitlist scandal that occurred, started in Phoenix and became a nationwide scandal where veterans did die as a consequence of the bureaucracy doing what it was doing, and defrauding veterans of healthcare resources. So we've seen that. We've seen it move forward in other ways within what we've seen in the VA. And, gosh, we sure hope that the rest of America is paying attention, because we've had a lot of problems with the Department of Veterans Affairs not being forthcoming about what's going on and actually engaging in what I would call disinfo. So federal government engaging in disinfo against veterans. To use the common vernacular, back in the day, we just would have said, well, delay, deny, hope that I die, right? Now it's called disinfo, but whatever, we'll call it disinfo because that's what we call it today. Anyway, so now it appears that, Department of Veterans Affairs is backtracking on that. Depending on the nature of the specific communications. Department of Homeland Security is also saying that's not, moving forward. The VA's own website as of May 9th, May 9th, right? These talks came out 2 weeks ago. Public outcry now May 9th. It looks like on the 4th mission website, it appears that the mission is over as of May 9th. So you tell me what that might mean. So we'll see. But as of right now, there are no additional missions, and the website was very clear about pointing that out. So maybe there were talks of expanding it. I bet that's probably what was going on if I were to be a betting man, which I'm not. But that's probably what was going on. Anyway, curious about your comments. By the way, this is the first time I've used this new app across multiple platforms. So if you have any comments, want me to cover things, want me to do this on a more regular basis with video, which I have not been doing a whole lot of in the past couple of years, definitely let me know. I want to make sure the software works. It appears to work okay on my end. But anyway, if you have comments about this, you're curious about this fourth mission, what else it might mean, some of the comments from the VA secretary about the fourth mission and whether it was really going to affect veterans or not. I think it only stands to reason that when you allocate resources directly from veterans to some other purpose, it seems like one side is going to get less resources. That's just how I do math. Maybe new math suggests some other kind of outcome. I don't know. But anyway, that's above my pay grade for right now. Otherwise, have a great weekend. It's Friday. Love you all and really look forward to kicking off whatever's coming next, which is going to be a rock and roll summer, it appears, and election cycle, and then another election cycle. And lately, it just seems like it just goes on and on and on. It would be great to be outside of an election cycle for a while, like it used to be back in the day. But that's the way our news media is in this era. So anyway, take care. Have a great weekend. And otherwise, hope y'all know a little bit more about it. There is a fourth mission. No, we're not sending doctors to the southern border from the VA to care for illegal immigrants, according to the agencies. If you believe them, that's up to you. So anyway, take care for now, and I'm signing off.